Hello and welcome back to a Nomad Tale. In this episode, I intend to demonstrate the adage that good things come in small packages. I invite you to free yourself from the shackles of believing that piloting larger ships is in any way, despite the apparent skill point progression, intrinsically more rewarding than that of smaller hulls. With eyes wide open and a brimming newfound confidence, let's go back out there and have a little bit of fun. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. So at this point, it is not really a secret that I am a huge fan of the Venture as a ship. Here you have a hull that costs a couple 100,000 ISK. It has built-in warp core stability. It can haul in easily 70 mil an hour on its own. It can, even be fit. And this is the crucial part. It can even be fit to be bait. You can put a newt and a scram and some drones on there. And like you saw in previous episodes, you can catch or try to catch people with the Ventures. I really liked that part of the Ventures. That was a defining aspect of what I did out there was cheap Ventures, hard to catch. If you catch them, you got to kill them, right? But I'm also making a conscious effort to not be stubborn, all right? And the intuitive, natural progression from Ventures would obviously be prospects. And I have talked a little bit about prospects in the past, but I haven't really given them a shot. I didn't really see the appeal of them. Extra mining bay, woohoo, same rate, etc. Cloak, not really that useful, more cost. I saw all the downsides. But despite that, I kind of did some theory crafting and did a little research and talked to some people and ended up deciding that I need to test these out. I need to see if they're something I need to do. So I did a small amount of injecting and got my 4 Venture pilots in prospects. Now, let's just get the obvious out of the way. When you switch over to prospects, you completely lose all combat capability, right? You no longer have an extra high slot that you can donate to something like a newt. You're not gonna bother with a scram because you have no drone bay. You can't even put some hobgoblins on the target. There's essentially no combat capability whatsoever with prospect in J space because they can Sino in K space. But out here, they do nothing. They're absolute prey, 100% prey, right? So you actually lose something when you upgrade from a Venture to a prospect, which I found to be a major hurdle to jump. Honestly, I just like to do things that make sense, and it just didn't seem right to do that. But what I learned is that you do sacrifice the combat ability, but you gain 2 extra abilities, right? So you go 1 step back and 2 forward in many ways, right? With prospects, you unlock the ability to spin clouds, which is the Jedi mind trick technique. I'm probably just going to call it spinning from now on, just because it's easier. You also gain the ability to wear camo, all right? Now, if you're not really familiar with these terms, it's fair. If you don't know what's going on, that's fair. If you kind of see where I'm going with this, that's awesome. But we're going to get into the nitty gritty and kind of talk to you about, what these concepts are, why they're good, when to use them, and eventually circle back around and justify the reasons why we bought this prospects dream and ran with it instead of putting it aside as we thought we might. This is pretty wild. I had no idea that there was gas in high stack. I had no clue. Looks like there's none here. That means for our new bro friends, they can actually hop in a Venture and scoop gas without much risk. I really like that. Granted, there's not going to be much in these clouds, but this is golden. Stuff's worth a fair amount. A new bro would love this discovery. Either way, it feels weird to just be huffing and not have any cares in the world. This is the first time in my whole life I've ever huffed gas where people couldn't attack me. Interesting. Dude, my heart's racing so fast. My porpoise is landing on the Jeddah gate. From Sobaseki, and I just see this huge pack of Talwars land on me. I guess they're gone now. It was like 30. It literally looked like they were about to gank me, and I was like, wait, do I warp off and go to a station, or do I go through? But I guess I'm not gonna see them, but geez, that was really freaking scary. Alright, so we found a little shattered here. 004 150, class 4. Got a 2 high and a 3 static. So it's probably going to be totally packed with people, but we found instrumental core reservoir, which we are currently employing a Jedi mind trick tactic, excuse me, to semi-safely harvest the gas from. And then, to our delight, there is also a vital here, which we have already set up a scoop spot and spawned the rats to hopefully claim it for ourselves. But who knows what will happen? Who knows? Maybe we'll screw up the Jedi. Maybe somebody will gank us. Maybe we'll... I don't know. Maybe we'll decide to become super capital pilots overnight and spend all of our time and money chasing a dragon that we can never quite ride. I don't know. Sky's the limit, you know what I mean? Alright, so somebody is trying to scan us down right now with regular probes, which is... You see them? They just pulled them. They just pulled the probes right after... I think somebody just grabbed the signature. That's what that looked like. Okay, here's some more cores. It's the same group? Why would they scan it twice? Oh my god. I don't think they're gonna be even close. They used core probes. They're gonna warp to the site. Yeah, look. Look. Yeah. See, they warped right to the warp in point. We weren't even anywhere close to that. We were like 200 and some kilometers away. So there's really nothing that they could have done to catch us there. I mean, they didn't combat scan us, but realistically, if they would have combat scanned us, they would have warped in, you know, 80 kilometers behind us anyway. And then they would have had to catch us. And then after they catch us, they have to deal with the warp core stabilizers while I log in other ships to deal with them. Honestly, not even close, but it's really exhilarating to get ganked like that because it kind of wakes you up, you know? A little cold water on your face. Guess I would kind of prefer not to kill this guy, but he's taking my relics. It's not right. Oh, he left. He left when I wasn't looking? This son of a gun. Took too long to set up there. Well, that's lame. What happened here? Why did he not take anything? Oh, he's here already. Well, let's see what we can do. So we're gonna let this guy get out of here. Reason being is I don't want to pollute the system with explorer kills, and this guy will probably really like playing Eve if we get him out of here. He's probably really gonna enjoy it. That was actually pretty cool. I have the strangest feeling he will leave. Also, when he said not great, that was pretty fucking funny. I really enjoyed that, actually. So obviously we don't want to kill or throw away things wherever we're currently camping. It's just good practice, just in case they have Z-kill on. Plus, we don't really like killing brand new bros. And that was a brand new bro. So we managed to, in a way, help the game, help ourselves, help him, and still have a bit of fun. So I consider that a net win. And wow, is that not pretty, huh? I'm not entirely sure how it's humanly possible, but I just randomly ran into a system, and there's a group of guys unanchoring a citadel in here. Wild stuff. I'm not even sure how long it takes to uninstall them, but... Oh, 7 days. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so this isn't gonna happen like anytime soon, but... Is there no way for me to see when it comes out? Maybe. I just don't know how. Okay. Ah! I'm clipping. Help me. Help! Wow, okay. So there is a Pelican cruiser here. I legit had no idea that there were more than just the battleships. I guess that makes sense. It's 5mm of it. It's not really that valuable, but it certainly is more valuable than the stuff around me. I find it hilarious how I'm in a data combat site using a relic hacker. It's interesting. How wild is that? Basically, this is like the smaller version of the class 5 one. I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for that. Oh, it's heavy. Uh-oh. That's a problem. Can I not save location? Alright, we'll just bookmark it. That's kind of neat. I guess when you even do lower class combat data and relic sites, you need to watch out for these. Huh. Really cool. Probably gonna let this guy go. I'll make sure he's up to no good. Pretty funny. You really gotta love what interdictors can do to people. Really locks them down. Fun stuff. Nice. Oh, he's really fast. All right, I'm going to do something a little bit strange here. I'm going to stop in the middle of a day and come back to that same day after a bit of discussion, okay? And the reason for this is super simple. You need to understand a bit more about class 13 wormholes before we move forward. And if you already know a lot about them, that's awesome. I would say you are in the sweeping minority. I would say, based on my experiences, that most people don't understand how the mechanics work. And I was one of them, even a month ago, right? Every time I saw C13, I avoided it, right? So anyway, what I want to show you is a couple things. I'm going to show you something while I talk. But to start, I have to give you a little background on what I'm going to show you, okay? So this is Pathfinder, blah, blah, blah. If we click this C13 that I have my scanner in right now, and we look, all right, I want you to notice some things. You may not be a Pathfinder person. That's okay. We're gonna still sort through this together. I want you to see how there's three wormholes and one data site, okay? Notice how 2 of the wormholes were created 17 hours and 20 minutes ago, okay? Those are unmarked. All right. Now I need you to understand one fact before we proceed. All right. In wormhole space, C13s and small wormholes in particular, they got changed recently so that they only last 4.5 hours. That means when they spawn, they have about 30 minutes until they go end of life. And then they're end of life for 4 hours, and then they vanish. For something like a C13, the statics are small, so the statics should rotate every like 4 or 5 hours, right? That's actually not the case, and we're about to see why. And this is the introduction to Vestal theory for you. I'm just calling it that because it makes sense. We're talking about untouched wormholes, right? So anyway, what you need to do is look at this time. 17 hours, 20 minutes on both of these wormholes, all right? Okay, so we're going to launch the game. We're going to talk about a couple of things while the game launches. And then we will circle back to this window, okay? So in C13s, we have Vestal theory. But more importantly, we have the notion that C13s are really good for ratting, right? You can sit in kikis and confessors and make hundreds of millions an hour. Hundreds of millions. With very little investment. And there's almost nobody there to gank you because it's virtually dead space. And for reasons we'll get into, etc., okay? So people rat here. There's tons of videos on it. You can find all about it. It's really good money. It is really good money. There's also core gas sites in here because they are shattered, right? Nobody can anchor citadels in here because they're shattered, right? Really cool stuff. Because of this ratting phenomenon, a lot of people bring characters into here like alts, and then they leave them in here. Right? They give them a scanner and a confessor or something like that, and they just leave them in here, and they just log on to a site, log off in a safe, done. You know, the cloak. And you see that a lot, right? I've run into multiple groups doing that with kikis, confessors, you name it, right? So if you ever explore C13s, understand that you're probably not going to run into people, but there's always going to be people that have characters logged out in them. All of them, all 25 of them, because there's only 25 of these systems, right? So just keep that in the back of your head, okay? The last thing I want to touch on before we circle back to the original point was, if you look at the effect, Class 13s have the highest strength Wolf Riot, which is really kind of how we get that PvE damage to get those high ISK rates. Because in a Confessor, you can get like 1300, 1400 DPS, alright? Now, as far as what sites spawn, there's 2 patterns. One of them is where it'll spawn class 1 and class 2 sites, and the other one is where the system will only spawn class 3 sites. Obviously, the class 3 sites are where the money are. So you need to be sure that you're in the right C13 if you're planning to farm it, okay? Sweet. The Wolf Riot effect also interacts with the camo. Yeah, no joke, it really does. This reduces our signature radius by 50%. It makes you even harder to scan down. It's pretty hilarious, alright? Alright, now let's get back, because I'm getting a little excited about this, because it's going to work out perfectly. If we pull back our little Pathfinder window here, and we look at these 2 wormholes, right? We look at our system. We have a C6 and a nullsec static, correct? If we look at these signatures, 17 hours ago, we had a CWN 460 and a YLF TAC 200, right? Let's go ahead and go back into the game here. We don't even have to click. We can just hover. If you look, we have these signatures Which makes sense. We scanned them 17 hours ago, yeah? The part that is tricky for new wormhole players to understand, myself being one of them, is that these are only 4.5-hour holes. How the hell are they this long, right? And the reason is very simple. These are Vestal holes. Nobody has initiated a warp to these wormholes. Not one time. I scanned them down, I bookmarked the signature, and I let them sit for this demonstration. And more or less, what's happened is the other side never spawns because nobody's warped to it, and they never start their timer. So in theory, we can let these rack up as high as we want. I haven't seen a limit yet. I saw one that was over 2 days, I'm pretty sure. It was like 42 hours, or not over, about 2 days. 42 hours, right? And this is what I mean by Vestal. When a wormhole is Vestal, it means it doesn't exist yet. It's just a wisp. It's just a signature, a wisp in the wind. And when you understand this idea of Vestal wormholes, you understand that, holy crap, this change to the timer of wormholes means that you can seal a class 13 hole off in a matter of hours. You simply warp to the statics, wait for them to roll over 4 hours later, and then you have 2 Vestal holes. And because A009s, which are the only small holes exempt from that 4-hour timer, the wandering small holes, because they rarely connect these, I mean, there's one in here now. It's not rarely, but it's like some days you won't have them, right? You can actually completely seal these holes, 100%, meaning nobody can get in or out. The only way that somebody can get into this hole right now, if this wandering wasn't here, would be if they scanned from the inside out, period. Because there's no way in. The wormhole doesn't exist on the outside, so that's really cool. The idea of Vestal theory is something that we're gonna come back to time and time again in the future. All that out of the way, I'm gonna show you now what I've been working on, which is basically C13 stuff. And we've been kind of living out of them, and we'll get right back into the day today. So I'm pretty sure this is somebody's confessor scanning a way out right now. I just have a feeling that's what this is. Pretty much just want to see if we can catch him on this gate here, but it's going to be pretty difficult because we don't have our interdictor in place. So it looks like they moved off of this, and they're going to scan maybe this now? 1x? Yeah, they're scanning 1x now. So I kind of just have to decide what I want to do. Do I want to try to catch him before or after? So I found a group of people doing sites in this C13 with 4 characters. And I've set up on one of their mobile character units here with 3 characters. Here's a Kiki. Okay, this might be showtime. If we're gonna do it. Okay, Kiki just flew past. I'm hoping to get a confessor here. Or at least try to. Oh, here's a confessor. I think they're just going to another site, right? Look at this. Look at this.
I like to be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is bliss. Take me back to before the new. Rewind, take it out of cue. Innocence can be a guilt-man's game. Signed up for the hall of shame. I wish I knew how much I missed. I know that we're all screwed when we play our roles and ignore the problems. I like to be way more patient. Stay up, I feel so outdated. How can we look
You
the
cannot
other
cloak your ship
way?
as you are being targeted by someone.
It's great.
You cannot cloak your ship
Take a
active
chance. It's
by
always
someone.
hard at this glance. I don't wanna, but I know I gotta do it. The truth is I'm just one, I think I'll chew it.
Man, my heart is beating 1,000 beats a minute right now. And my hands are shaking still. And I know who these guys are. This was that coveter I ran into that got away and their Tengu shot me.
I wish I knew how much
Man, what am I doing? That was a little crazy. What if one of those guys had a point?
that we're all screwed.
I would have been absolutely donezo. And I'm gonna keep it real with you right now. This confessor is just a little bit more expensive than the average confessor. So if I manage to not swap into defensive and pull range and get transversal and swap to Imperial Navy Standard, I mean, holy crap. That would have been a fucking disaster. Dobra walka, my friends. So there's a venture here. See if we can grab him real quick. We do have that 3-point scram, so these are on the menu, right? Okay. Well, here's what we'll do instead. Let's just scare this guy and I'll warp back to where I came from and... This way we can all be happy. See you, buddy. Actually, no, wait, you know what? I'm gonna chase him and make sure he goes through. In you go, my friend. Get in there, bro. What are you doing? Nice. He was mining ore in a venture in J-Space. That's pretty uncommon. Okay, so I'm about to do something that I've never done before. I'm not sure if it's smart, but I'm just gonna go for it. So basically, if you run a skill farm, right, you have to be in a station to extract skills. You can't be in a ship either. So you cannot do it from J-Space in the way that I play. Basically what that means is that every so often, and to be fair, I don't have to do it yet, but the connection is so good I might as well. Every so often you have to find a way to get your pod back to Jeddah from space, and since I made my porpoise one of the skill farms, it's a little awkward. But I kind of like it because it's a challenge, and this is wild, and if somebody took advantage of it, it would certainly look cool, at least, right? So here's the thing. What we're doing is warping our pod through a hole into high sec. And we're gonna hope we don't get bubbled. We have a little bit of help from other ships, of course, along the way. But largely we should be using a shuttle for this. Basically the plan is, if somebody just happened to descan the porpoise down right now, I'd be totally screwed. They would warp here and kill it. Luckily it's not full of loot or anything. But if they came, I would try to blap them with this incredibly superpowered confessor, and I'd start warping Asteros to it. Or one Astero, and I'd also warp the Eris to it, right? So I'd get back up there. But realistically, somebody could totally take that and kill it, right? Couldn't stop them. Dock up. Hopefully I can extract from a citadel. That would be great. And what we do is we go down to wherever your thing is. I have mine in production, so it's automatically here. And we just start pulling skills out, right? Look at that. There's one. Activate another. Boop, boop, boop. Just like that, right? Easy. Now that we're in a shuttle, we're immune to bubbles. It's a lot less likely we will die. So ideally, you don't want to be leaving this stuff out here like this. I mean, it's just terrible, terrible practice. But if we do it once every couple months, it's not as big of a deal. Just would like to get in there and cloak it up so I can feel safer. I'm just self-destructed. Oh, here it comes, here it comes. Curious who this is. There he is. Enoch. Stone clones. Okay, so in episode 10, we talked in depth about safe spots and how they work and what kind of stuff they're vulnerable to. And right now I had an opportunity to demonstrate one of the terms that we used in that theory, which was I call it a line attack, which is basically when you put an object that is between two celestials, you can just warp back and forth and drop bookmarks until you narrow it down and you're eventually on the same grid and you can just fly to it, right? So to demonstrate this, what I did was I found a system where the Eve Scout rescue cache was pretty close to a celestial, and it seemed to be in line with another one, although I don't think it's exactly in line. I digress. And what happened is you can see all these bookmarks in a line. Isn't that neat looking? With the cool decoration in the background. And you can kind of see how I get it closer and closer and closer and closer. And you see the other side, those same bookmarks. I get it closer and closer. Now I left them there to show you what the line looks like. You'd probably just want to delete them as you go and just keep 2 or 3 on either side. Either way, once you get close enough to this thing and you get on grid with it, you can actually just go ahead and warp to it. Right? And then if this was, for example, like somebody trying to nomad, or somebody trying to just store stuff real sneaky like in a container, you could conceivably easily get that container by doing this, right? Because now we're right next to this used cache and we haven't used a bookmark or anything like that. So there he is again. Where's he headed? To the 5X now, okay. Look at him just sit there. No way he actually has polarity, right? No way. Wait, is he gonna fuck up here? Wait, he doesn't have polarity. I think I'm gonna try and go for it right here. Oh, he's moving again. Yo, wait, what is he doing? He just decloaked me randomly. That was pretty funny. So this is a system that just opened up in A009 into my class 13. I slipped in here and threw some probes out. I think they saw me though, to be honest with you. But I saw a tornado on D-scan, which was interesting, and there are 3 people inside of this Astra, so like, you almost gotta wonder, okay, surely they're gonna go, yeah, went right to it. Where's the buzzard? Is he gonna orbit it? Yeah, so this hole we're in right now is rather unique. For that reason right there, right? What we're looking at here is one of the drifter holes. And I just happened to stumble upon this when it was in the chain. So I don't really have intentions of going too crazy with exploring this right now. But the beauty of what... Whoa, look at that. You see that? The probe scanner just refreshed like 5 times in a row. That was crazy. Anyway, the beauty of what I do now is that I can just drop a seed in here, right? You know what, screw it, we're gonna do a 16 right on the center there. So what I'm trying to do now is find a way to get a seed in here. And this does have a class 2 static, but that static is like dead space since this is a drifter hole. Which means that getting our seed inside of that hole would be problematic. So instead, what I like to do is maybe scan some stuff down, maybe find a wormhole or two, and possibly have a high sec static a jump or two away kind of thing. But yeah, there's a bunch of crazy things about these systems. There's like a permanent site in here that you can just hang out at and rats respawn in. And all of these have a class 2 static, and they all have 2 effect strength, with each having a different effect, right? So... Oh my, look at that. Oh, all the wormholes are like that. I mean, right there, that's pretty spooky that we spawned so far off of it. These buildings are wild. I mean, buildings next to wormholes. This is very strange to me, but kind of cool as well. I gotta say, it's pretty dang cool. Just the number of SIGs as well. It's just rather overwhelming. Oh, there's where it says readout. The name of the epithet sensor has changed. Ah, interesting. Very cool. All right. So it really has not even been that long, and we are pretty much in. We are in. This is our fresh seed. Well, it's not fresh, but it is new-ish. Inside of the drifter system. Alright, I gotta see what's in there before I do anything else. Just in case there's a bunch of stuff. That would be crazy. Yo, look at that. It actually has Kiki stuff in it. Whoa. This is all the way zoomed in. And there's like so many stacked up here, you can't even see them all. But it's like atomic zooming, ready? So if you zoom out, those all fold in, more come in. More. Pretty crazy. That was really fun. There's 2 more containers that I know of in here that I'm just gonna assume belong to this guy as well. But I'm not gonna crack them today. So here's a weird issue. I have 4 accounts running usually at the same time, right? And I often do what you're seeing right here, where I log them out in space with this timer, and then log on another character who will fly in. For the longest time now, I've been plagued with this audio issue where occasionally, throughout my play session, I would lose like background sounds for some stuff. And normally, you know, who cares, sounds, whatever, especially with multiple clients. There's really no need to fuss over a couple missing sounds, but the big problem was when this glitch happened, I couldn't do this. I couldn't have a character zoom in on a wormhole and listen for the sound because that sound was absent, right? Really weird. So I finally got sick of it and did some Googling, right? Turns out that the issue is a bit simpler than I even thought. It's simply because I'm safe logging and switching characters without relaunching the game client, right? Once I relaunched the client, this was 2 years ago. I honestly don't think this affects enough people for them to really worry about it. But in case you're one of the people like me where it does, what you have to do is whenever you safe log, assuming you need your sound back, you just gotta do that. Close the entire client, right? Yeah, hopefully nobody was bothered by that, but if you were, now you have a fix. Hallelujah. Alright, so in class 13s, one of the major appeals for coming, day tripping, living here, etc. is the idea that the rats are easily killable with small ships thanks to the Wolf Riot class 6 strength effect, right? Right. So basically what this means is that we are able to do PvE with a confessor or something like a Kikimora and make similar-isk to that of something even close to a Marauder, right? So this is a class 3 site we're looking at right now, okay? The sleeper models are like really bulbous and kind of goofy looking, but I think that's kind of intended to show, I mean, I don't know, this is speculation, but I'm sure that's intended to show how much value we put on aesthetics when it's not important. But who knows what that actually is about. Looks pretty damn cool, huh? Wow. That's epic. There you go. Should look kind of cool. Yo, that's nasty. Alright, now we switch to Gleam. Kill this guy. Set the camera back. And that's it. You pretty much collected with the Eris, and the reason for that is, I mean, if you're watching somebody farm and they're looting with an Eris, do you really want to tackle that Eris? I mean, you might, but the problem is, if you tackle my Eris right now, this is what happens, right? You get a whole bunch of ships, right? Instantly on you, you're instantly dying, you're taking 3,000 damage, right? You're getting jammed. It's not pretty. We pretty much have this down to where, yeah, we could die, but it would be really, 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 really hard to die and not cause serious casualties to the opponent within the context of a C13. So, yeah, kind of cool. We have it locked down at this point in terms of the technique. So now we just wait for this MTU to go, and that is how you rat in C13s, or at least that's how I do it. Let's see here, mining amount. And then we'll go residue, and that should do it. Okay. All right. So if we look at these 3 types of scoops here, I want you to understand before we even analyze this that all 3 of these have a purpose. All 3. This one is the lowest risk, and you get all of the gas that you mine. But it's slow. Gas Cloud Scoop 2 is faster, you get more gas per second than Scoop 1's, and it's still low risk, but you give up 1/4 of your gas, right? And real fast, just to show this again, the way we get 1/4 out of this is if it's 33% and you have first cycle, second cycle, third cycle. That third cycle, which is 1 in 3, will add an extra 1, right? So that means you took 4 out of the cloud, but you only got 3, right? So that's what we mean by 34 over the top being 1/4. And lastly, the Syndicate gas cloud scoops. They mine the fastest and they give you all of the gas, but they do not provide you with a risk-free setup, okay? And you might be going, why don't you just upgrade to Syndicates? At this point, I have tens of billions of ISK. I have plenty of things to get going. I have, no worries about losing Syndicates. And we talk all this about how Syndicates, how the prospects are hard to kill more than one of them, right? So it should be natural that we switch immediately to the Syndicate scoops, but we're not going to do that. And the reason for that is very simple. We don't actually care about the ISK that much when these prospects die, because they don't die frequently. We don't really care about that. We also don't care about the extra income because we don't play this game for ISK exclusively. What I do care about is the feeling that I have when I'm scooping gas, right? When you're scooping these with Tech 2 prospects, a little bit of camo on them, nothing crazy. Each prospect is no more than like 40, 50 mil tops, right? When you're playing with that cheap of prospects, it's almost the same idea as the ventures in that you can just, if you disconnect, who cares? If someone kills you, who cares? If, you get lazy and want to stand up and AFK for a little bit while you do something else and spin a cloud, who cares? You can do that, right? There's literally nothing stopping you. So the reason I use Tech 2 scoops is not because I feel as though Syndicates are bad or they're not a huge upgrade. They are a huge upgrade and they are not bad. I just think that when you use Syndicates, you can no longer relax when you're scooping gas. That's my thought. I don't want to lose 1 billion ISK worth of scoops because I had to go to the bathroom for a second. You know what I mean? That's not me. So, yeah, I can't see the future. Who knows? Maybe we'll switch to Syndicates one day when we get more and more comfortable. But I feel pretty darn comfortable already. And we're not at all interested in Syndicates. So he's trying to combat Scammy right now. You see this? Cloak up. You see how they switch from core to combat? You see that? I just saw combat probes. I'm like 99% sure. There's a fair amount of wormholes in here. I'm happy we caught it though. Can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. So this is really weird. I don't think I've seen a scythe out here yet. And we have a bonus maelstrom. That's budget. I'm actually not sure what's happening here, but I just warped to a planet randomly and there's a scythe here. I was just getting closer to D-scan. Hey, buddy. So this is really sad because I'm actually on my scanner really far away from my other characters right now, just checking stuff out. I don't really have a quick way to get enough firepower here to kill this stuff. So let's try to scare it instead. Have a little fun. Surely they saw me, right? Let's do one more. Alright, they had to have seen me just now, right? So they're gonna leave? I mean, who would stay with a ship on grid? Okay, these guys would stay with a ship on grid. They just do not care. This is the honey badger maelstrom philosophy. Highly dangerous. Alright, let's do something where they physically cannot ignore me, alright? Let's drop our probes on the MTU itself. Oh shoot, oh shoot, oh shoot, oh shoot, oh shoot, am I gonna die? Oh shoot, I'm dead, I'm dead. Oh my gosh. So I was gonna show a little bit of B-reel there. I guess I got extremely lucky. Holy crap, man. Anyway, I was gonna show this gas site. It's called a Red Dragonfly Nebula. But I knew it was like guarded by rats. I didn't realize that I was gonna get decloaked instantly. That was foolish of me. Yeah, so I guess we're not gonna be looking at that. So this is pretty wild. I managed to find a system next to mine that has an A009, which is a class 13 connection. It has two F216s, which are Poshfin connections. And it has three class 1 wanderings, a class 2 wandering, a class 3 static, a high sec static, and a low class exit. So that is a absolutely massive busy system. And what I did is I popped through the Poshfin connection right here. And I'm in Posh right now. I just wanted to see what this looks like coming from JSpace right into Poshfin. It's pretty cool. So we'll go back through. There's rats on the other side, so I hope they don't kill me, but I mean I have a cloak, so I mean I find it hard to believe that these things could kill me that quickly, right? And if they could, that would be pretty wild. I see a Rediva silhouette there. Vedmak. There's a Lashak at the other one. Let's go to the other one and look at the other one real quick. So if we go 100 and cloak, nothing is gonna kill us. Cool. Let's take a look at this Lashak. I love the way that ship looks. But yeah, this is like the craziest system. I mean, look at all these systems. C13, all these class 1s, double Poshfin. You know what I mean? Like, you don't see systems like this frequently, or at least I don't. Yeah, there's a Lash. Oh, yeah. Come on, how cool is that? Gotta love it. So anyway, this has a high side connection, so we're gonna use that and move some stuff around. Love it. Love it. Okay, so this is a little bit crazy. I was just chilling. Downtime happened. Came back after downtime. And noticed a bunch of relic sites. The first relic site I checked has 123 million in the first can. It was a Sancha. 15 intact armor plates. I'm not sure I've ever seen more than that in one can. Maybe though. Maybe 16. Anyway, I get to this one. And that's when I decided to start recording after I saw this. There's another can here in the Scaristas. Let's take a look at it real quick. What's in here is a truly walloping amount of money for Agaristas as well. I mean, they do get higher than this, of course, but I mean, 123 mil cannon is Sancha. That's like really high. Normally 100 mil is like celebration time. 123, that's crazy. While we do this, let me just show you real quick. I've refined my setup so that this frigate is basically just like an electronics platform, right? We can target really far out now. We can target a lot of things. And all we really do is just chill, right? We just grab all the targets and look through them all. There's a 5 mil one. And if you see one you like, you just put it down there. You get rid of these and then you just hunt the ones you just targeted. And you zoom out so you're nice and alert, right? I mean, I love hacking. This is one of my bread and butters. This was one of my original bread and butters in Eve. I kind of just sorted out how hacking is less about the actual minigame itself, although it's of course useful to be good at it. And it doesn't really matter. It's more about just like the idea and like not the lifestyle, but it's very much like a feel thing. You can't just go and hack. It's not like clearing havens, you know. Really even that. And really, that's it. We just got 200 mil or so. Let's see how much we got actually. 200 mil, yeah. In like under 10 minutes from 3 relic sites. That was really cool. And most of the hacking was in the last one where the least amount of value was. Wild. Okay, so this is gonna seem a bit weird, perhaps. But at this epicenter thing in Shattered Systems, I noticed there were rats here, and obviously that's nothing new, but I just thought to myself, like, what's the spawn timer on these, right? Because when I was doing Cosmos missions, I was kind of interested in how long the rats took to respawn inside some of those static complexes, right? I just thought it was interesting to know. what the faucets were coated at. And basically, I wanted to know how long these take, so I killed them. And then I came back like, I don't know, half a day later, and they still weren't there. I checked back shortly after that, and they were there, so I killed them. And that was a couple hours ago, maybe 2 hours ago. And they have just respawned again, and I've killed them again. Okay, so look at that. They've respawned. I find that interesting. The wrecks are still here from the old ones. So we know that's within 2 hours. So apparently these epicenter rats spawn pretty rapidly. I don't know why they didn't respawn that one time. But look at this. There's 2 sets of wrecks from the previous ones we just killed. It's pretty funny. Alright, so guess what we have here? That's right. Another one of these cool little cruisers. So basically, I'm not even gonna scan this one first, we're just gonna hack it, because I keep scanning them and getting disappointed, so let's enjoy the moment. Drum roll, please. I suppose that's, again, disappointing. Maybe only the big ones have a chance to have some decent stuff in them. That could be it. Either way, I do like looking for these, but if they're 5 mil and then 90 M3, this is exactly what happened last time, right? So either way, we'll jettison this and put that in that. $13 mil? What in the fudge? Oh, wow. Okay, that's wild. Okay. I like that. No way. That's crazy. I didn't know there was like value in these. That's wild. Alright, well that's a data set. I cannot believe for even 1 second that we got 2 things that were 13 mil each. I can't believe that. I don't know what this is for. Is there a way to see? Oh, okay. That's funny. Where do these come from? Anyway. I want to live at the top of the mountain. I want to be able to, with a simple switch of my stance, be capable of tumbling rapidly downhill towards my goals. It's only when I'm loaded with the spoils of exploration do I need to worry about the return trip, and the riches that I'm carrying pretty much guarantee ample motivation to make that trip. So what am I talking about? I am describing a cornerstone of Nomad theory, and indeed how I play this game every single day. You see, traditionally in EVE, we tend to have a base of operations that we log into and we travel outwards and we return to on a daily basis, right? There's also normally a supply line involved with most players past a certain point, but in null blocks, it's typically done via group effort, right? But nomading is not traditional in EVE. It's not popular, not that many people do it. It's cool, but it's definitely not traditional. We don't have a typical base of operations. We travel around the galaxies and make reverse day trips of sorts, right? We go back into Empire to grab supplies and sell goods. When I started Ant, and without realizing it, I laid the foundation for the route-based Nomad network I'm going to describe in detail over the coming minutes. A Nomad network is a collection of locations we frequently find ourselves in. You have 3 or more nodes in a network. Each node represents a logical purpose. The actual locations of the nodes is entirely up to the Nomad. The 3 nodes that seem pretty mandatory so far are as follows: the market, the office, and the field. The market is the place you go to buy and sell goods. It should be the most familiar to you. Jitta is the most obvious, with Amar being a close second. But honestly, you could even use nullsec markets. You could use free ports. You could use Wrens and Heck. You could use Dodixie. It doesn't really matter where your market is. As long as you can get what you need there and sell your stuff, that's your market node. So generally it's a trade hub. I use Jitta. The premise is simple. This is where you interface with the rest of the game on an economic level, right? The field location is where you go to make ISK, have fun, do things, right? For us, it's generally in a wormhole. It's generally the wormhole we're currently camping, but not always. Sometimes I'll hang out in low-sec for a couple days, or, do something else. And the field is basically the shifting location as to where we keep our characters that generate this can have the fun. If the market is one pole of the Nomad network, the field is the very opposite pole, right? So every other network node would be between those two. Ideally, or in theory, rather. The third and most recent addition to the Nomad network is the office. And the office is, in a nutshell, a dual-purpose node. It serves as a midway point between the field and the market, and it also serves as a storage depot. The advantage of abstracting the office node is really simple. You have so many more options as you crawl through New Eden and Anoikis and whatnot when you have a midway point between your field and your market, right? It just makes the game so much easier. With an office in Abazin, we can hit any trade hub in a matter of minutes safely. We can rest assured knowing that any exit wormhole is statistically closer to Abazin than almost any other system. That's pretty crazy to think about. The only really dangerous part of Abazin is the idea that getting inside of it can be troublesome with camps. But I insist that there are numerous methods available that allow for safe passage into and through Abazin. A quick list of these methods are live in eyes, camp busting, you have Waidama Scout, you have the lore backdoor, you have jump drives, and you have insta-warp ships. And really that last bullet point is a huge one, and it's what caused me to include this segment in this episode, is that with small ships that are insta-warp, you're effectively invincible in low sec, right? Assuming you understand what smart bombs are and how to play around them, which is very easy compared to other things. You're invulnerable in these quick ships. So really, Abazin loses a lot of its teeth when you use quick ships and small ships and understand how to get in and out and what the times are and stuff. So yeah, it's amazing. Like to make your ship smaller, yeah, you lose power, but you gain so many cool things. And this idea of the Nomad network and the office in Abazin being complemented so perfectly by small ships is just truly awesome. And it's almost guaranteed going to be a major part of how I play the game moving forward. Yeah, so kind of the way that I play Eve is that I generally like to build a machine, work on it, and then let it coast. And then when I want to modify it, I make, you know, broad strokes with the brush, right? So here we have a scenario where I want to change my hauler up a little bit. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to inject a bunch and then I'll extract a bunch. And overall, I'll lose a couple bill, but in many ways, the skills that I had were remnants of another era, and they weren't necessarily optimal for what I want to do, so I'm not at all against doing this. And just to show how, like, nonchalantly this is, let's just inject a bunch of skills, right? So, boom. 1.2 mil in the bank. Okay, so you just saw me inject a bunch of SP. Might be wondering where it's going, what I'm doing. Here it is. Let's not waste any time. This is a Pro Raider. It is the Amar Blockade Runner, and it is our new Lifeblood vessel. Alright, it looks a bit like a grub, maybe? Like an insect grub? Like a larva? Or maybe like a crab? Some type of arthropod. It even has like 6 little pseudo legs. Anyway, so this thing is not as cool looking as the crane, not even close. This is what it looks like with no skin. It's that Amar white and gold. This looks too much like the noob ship, so I had to put a skin on it. But I think this ship right here is going to scale the best into the future. And the reason I say that is because we have 4 low slots. Okay, with 4 low slots, we can do some wild stuff, okay? We can, let's see here. Let's start fitting this up real quick. I can do this quickly now. Look at that. If we put 3 inertials and a warp core stab and a micro on it, look, we're under 3-second align time. Under 3 seconds with a blockade runner. Crane would struggle really hard to get there, okay? Crucially, we can get almost as much space as the crane, not quite as much, but we can still get up there with cargo probe or cargo holds. It's not safe to carry these, so this is not ideal. And then on top of that, we can get our EHP back to similar to what it was when we were in the crane as well. So essentially what we've done is we've just straight upgraded to a ship that can align faster. And I believe is going to scale better into the future because of the idea that if they add better low slots, we're going to have more of them, right? Right. So the Pro Raider, it's a weird ship. You know, I don't really like Amar stuff too much. This is like Amar hauling. But I think this really makes sense for us, and I thought so to the point where I was willing to extract a couple million or a million SP or whatever it ended up being and inject a bunch of stuff to get here. So this is now upped our game a lot, which is awesome because the hauling game is a huge part of the Nomad lifestyle, and whenever you can improve that, I think it's worth taking. Yeah, so this one's a bit weird. Some dude, I saw him on my D-scan in a capsule when I came in here, and after I scanned it down, he hit up a local and said he was blah 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 blah. And I DM'd him because I saw him, like, hey, who killed you? And he's like, yeah, it was some dude in a tango. A sinkhole guy. Right? And so I invited the capsule to a fleet and got him to the exit. I don't know why he didn't self-destruct. Maybe he doesn't know, but... Either way, a rare instance where talking local worked out for you. But either way, the Tengu is currently scanning the system down. He's, yeah, what's the word? Thirsty. Oh, we got a mail. Aw, see, this is the type of mail that I like seeing. It's just a quick thank you. It's good stuff, you know what I mean? You'll love to see it. I don't know if I have any ESC on this character, but let's give him some. Oh, I have none. That's such a shame. Okay, so normally when I record stuff with Eve, it's because something's about to happen, or something has just happened, and I want to share that and narrate it in the moment. But I was thinking the other day, wouldn't it be neat if I just showed you what it looked like when I logged on for the day? You know what I mean? What that whole process was like, and what I look for, and etc. So let's do it. Why not? So we're just logging on for the first time. I haven't done anything. I have no maps. I have nothing, right? So this is what it looks like when I log on. And since we just went over so much Nomad theory, what I'm going to do is walk you through my network from market to field. So first thing, we'll log on to our market character. And I don't really have too much going on with this guy right now, but I will show you a couple of cool things that I do. Let's see. So perhaps the most important thing, and what we'll just jump right into, is the mutaplasmid business that I run on my trader. All right, where we basically buy mutaplasmids and then we roll modules in mass, and then I use a couple proprietary methods on how to price and sort these at quick speeds, and then I sort them in containers and then we sell them, and anything over 50 mil we keep. And this gives me a lot of ISK whenever I do it, which is quite frequently, and you can see that we're maxed out on contracts. So if we go to in progress, or sorry, outstanding, you can see these are all abyssals that I have for sale from the corp, and then I have another rack for sale from this guy, and then I have another rack for sale from my hauler. So at any given time I have 100, 200 or something like that, I don't know, abyssal modules for sale. So I constantly have income coming in that way, which is awesome. I also think, yeah, I have a bunch of stuff I have to bring to a Bazin, which we'll do later. But since I'm not really doing anything here, I mean, I could list a few of these modules for sale or something like that, but I'm not really feeling that right now, so we'll log out. And then let's go to our office. The wonderful, wonderful office. And so here, I don't really have anything that I want to do, but I just want to make sure I'm organized and I can show you how I have my place set up and talk about a couple other cool little things that I've been wanting to do. So when you have a corp, right, you actually get a bunch of hangars whenever you rent an office. So we've rented an office here in Abazin, and you get to choose what you name the hangars and stuff, right? So we have an imports folder, which is where we just dump stuff, and you can see we supplies where we keep stuff we need, and modules that we collect that we eventually prune through this and sell the stuff we don't need. And then we have sort of like a little random stuff collection here, kind of fun. Another folder to go back. We have a folder with some ships in it. But most excitingly, we have this folder called Anoikis, okay? And in this container, I have stuff that I have got in Anoikis over the past like month or so. And you'll see right away, well, to be clear, these blueprints, these are all the blueprints I've got in Anoikis. But all of this stuff, this is only in the past month. But basically what I'm doing is I'm just stashing everything in this box. Like I want for naught, so why sell everything right away and turn it to ISK? I don't really need anything. Basically, this container is also going to serve as like a nice little glimpse into, you know, how much I make from each activity, right? Because you can see if we have about 8 bill in here right now, half of that is gas, and another 3 bill of that is blue loot, right? So you can kind of get a breakdown of what we do. So we're going to be keeping an eye on this collection, and who knows, maybe I'll just sell it one day in the middle of the night, who knows. But I think it'd be cool to let that build up for a few months and see how many billions we can stash in there, you know? And then maybe we can do something with this gas, right? Alright, so we've checked the market and the office, nothing really going on there at the moment. So what we'll do now is we'll log into the field, and to do this, we're going to need two things. Number one, we're going to need to log into our scanner. We'll cloak her up right away. And then the next thing we're going to want to do is log into Pathfinder. And this stuff is long gone, so we can delete that. basically what we'll do is we will show you what this looks like. So for the day, copy these. Go back into here. I like to do it with a signature reader like this, so I can visually see what I'm losing, what I'm gaining, right? Just in case anything is still there, but not really looking like it. Okay. So just remove all the old sigs, and then we'll update. And then we have, oh, I did have an IoT, so we'll have to rescan that one. Just be careful you don't delete sigs, bookmarks, stuff. All right, so now we have 5 signatures to scan down. We know 2 of them are wormholes. But before we do that, let's look at the anomalies. We have this combat site, which I recognize the signature on that was here yesterday. So nobody's ran sites in here recently. All right, so what we'll do is we will launch some probes. I usually like to warp after I've launched probes, just out of safety and habit. But what we'll do is we will pull Pathfinder to the other monitor, and we will open the map and start scanning these down, right? Ah, some old school scanning, right? You know it's 4AU from there, so you can put it between the 2, and it'll almost always hit it. Also, because I've trained scanning skills up pretty high now, like I have level 5, you can see how quick the scan is now. Here, watch this. It's only 2 beeps. It's so cool. So for wormholes in the C13, I generally save them and then don't warp to them right away, just in case there's only 2. We know that those are statics, and we can choose to keep them Vestal if we want to, right? So I'm going to do an 8AU scan here because I don't know where exactly it is between these celestials. It's better to just do a 1 pass. 8, and then we'll be able to go down to a 2. Oh, we can go to a 1 on this one, but we'll just show you 2. And basically what we're doing is slowly, systematically scanning the system down. And as you grab SIGs, you can just Control A and boom, put them right in here. See that? Nice and easy. This is IoT. This is the one that we deleted the bookmark for by mistake. Try to keep your ship moving, even if you're cloaked. It's just good practice. So this one missed here and here. It's probably going to be out here. So instead of goofing around, let's just do another 8 on it. This was a messy scan, though. I could have thought about this better and been a little quicker with it. Yeah, so it's over here. Right about where I thought it was. Alright. So we already had IoT in Pathfinder. We don't need to add that, do we? Ah, another wormhole. See that? So what this means is that we're going to have to warp to the wormholes. Once you see you have more than 2, you can start warping to them. If you want to find out what you've got for the day. Save that, and then we go here. Go down to 4 since it's only 1. Put it between them. And run it. While that's running, we're going to save FHB. And this is going to be a 4 exit. Oops, I mistyped that, didn't I? It's a FHB. Gotta be careful with your tags. You don't want to be confused at the wrong time, you know what I mean? Come back here, zoom in. Scan. Keep away, and then we're going to warp to the next wormhole, which is LDR. Okay, this place is just chock full of wormholes. Excellent. So go ahead and save the raw seg on that one. This one's going to be lore. Missed it there. That was a bummer. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. Do you see what just happened here? So this is the 2? Yeah. 2x, and it's end of life, so we'll put an exclamation mark. So something really cool just happened here. And I couldn't have scripted this, but certainly didn't intend for it to happen. And you see how we have 4 wormholes? Let's see if there's... Wait, hold on. Before we get all excited. Ah, fudge. I was hoping this wasn't going to be a wormhole. What I was going to describe to you is if you have 4 wormholes, you have 2 statics. And you run to the first 2 wormholes and they're both exits, you know the other 2 are your statics, right? But sadly, we have 5 wormholes, so we can't use a process of elimination. So let's go ahead and copy that again. We'll throw it right back in Pathfinder and you mark all these off, right? So now we just a simple matter of linking these up to what they are. So Laura the 2x. I usually put an EOL here. You don't have to. You can also put a 4 here if you know what class it goes to. You don't really have to. It's in your sig codes and stuff, right? So, oh, look how lucky we are. So we hit the 3rd exit. That's pretty crazy, actually. This is a 3 exit. You can tell from the red and the white. Okay, so this is cool. We actually get to show the thing that that's so cool. So HRV is a 3 exit, right? So we'll put 162 and put a 3. Now what's amazing about this is we only have 2 wormholes left and we know these are our statics, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a V next to both of these for Vestal. Even though we don't know these are Vestal, we're gonna make that assumption. And then we go up to here, and we know these are our 2 holes, so we go KLK, Vestal. Just like that. And the one last thing you gotta do with these Vestal holes is you gotta open them and you gotta cancel the expiry on these. Because if they're Vestal, they'll last way more than 2 days sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to explore these 3 exit wormholes. And instead of walking you through what I'm doing each step of the way, I'm going to show you a time lapse of me filling out Pathfinder for these 3 systems. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think it'll look really cool. Okay, so a few conclusions after finishing this little starter map. We definitely have some decent case-based connections. There's a couple people in these. Some citadels and ships and stuff. We have 2 systems we haven't scanned down yet. And we have 2 empty systems that we can watch for signature spawns today. So there was no like frontier or core sites in any of these, and there were no like Sancha sites or anything, but there's still a ton of sites left for me to explore, and I still have my class 5 static I haven't even cracked open yet, so still plenty of stuff to do today. But I thought that was really cool to watch the map kind of unfold like that very rapidly, and really just see the visual of just how close you are to K-Space. No matter where you are in Anoikis, you're always very close to a high-sec system, so it's just a matter of finding it, right? Okay, so we cleared out those 2 sites. We're just gonna let them sit for a while, and then we will loot them up. But in the meantime, we have a new ship in the lineup that I'd like to say a couple things about right now. That ship is the Kikimora, which is our very first trig ship we've ever flown. And it is actually terribly exciting. And when I realized I was going to be flying this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I kind of geeked out. And the reason why we've hopped into this is pretty simple. If you've been following along so far, you'll probably know right away. But these things get huge bonuses in a Wolf Riot, right? So we're able to have a kind of a hybrid PvE, PvP ship. We could bring this in to back up the Confessor whenever there's like a couple battleships, for example, and pretty much double the clear speed. But more importantly, this thing is here to kill players. Now, we don't run into many players in C13s, to be fair. But if I did run into one now, they would have to deal with a Geeky and a Confessor, and that's just too much for one person to handle, so. I'm not too sure we'll catch somebody with this, but this is like a better version of what my pacifier was before. Like a way to do heavy damage. It just doesn't cloak, but realistically, we don't even need the cloak. We just need the prototype cloak, that's it. What I'm gonna do now is I've never fired a trig weapon. I don't know what this is all about, but what we'll do is we'll just go to the Polestar and we'll shoot those rats in a pretty chill, closed environment. And we'll take a look at this trig ship because I'm fairly certain you just shoot at a target, and the longer you stay shooting at it, it keeps ramping up, and it's a pretty slow cycle timer. And I don't know how the ammo works though. Is that 1 per shot kind of thing? We'll find out here. We'll just go ahead and orbit him at 500 with the afterburner on and start shooting these things. Oh my gosh, that's cool. It's like instantaneous. It is quite a bit faster cycle time than I thought. I thought it was like half that speed. That's cool. So in theory, I should be able to watch my damage go up here. It's going down, but there's some RNG involved. Oh, I could be going too fast maybe? Let me slow down a little bit. I am really close to this thing. Let's try it now. Man, that just looks so dang cool, I have to say. So it is much later in the day, and that chain has popped twice over, and we are in a new connection that was formed from an A009, and it is into a class 5 system. And we're just taking a quick little vast frontier reservoir here. But I believe Wolves lives here. Yeah. So, you know, these guys are definitely one of the top groups, and even though this is just their farm corp, Dread Amongst Drifters, or farm blanket, they're still quite dangerous. So when I was taking a small cloud, I was pretty alert, but now that we're in a spin and we have the rats behind us, it's like, it's pretty hard to catch us. The only real thing that matters is the idea that we have to get back through the hole, and they might bubble us, so we'll try to play around that. And one last thing I want to note that I thought was really interesting to think about, and I have thought about this before, but I just failed to mention it. When you are in a C13 and you go through a wandering connection and exit into a A009 into a system, that hole can't be rolled behind you. So what does that mean? That means that you can just take your sweet time. You have a 16-hour unrollable hole. I can spend all day here if I want. It's awesome. But obviously the day is over, so we're just probably gonna take one load off this and go back into our hole, and if it's still here tomorrow, we'll take the other one from it, and that'll be that. Although I doubt they're gonna be too happy when they realize I took half of it, but it's just because of downtime, that's why. So, yeah. Okay, so how sick is this? Check this out. We got Silent Battleground in our current system. How fabulous is that? This is really exciting though, because last time we found one of these, someone stole it before we could get a data analyzer. Now we have one. So that's freaking sick. Make some extra room here. So I think what I'll do is I'll go for a full scan partial clear. And we'll start on one end and we'll just go from can to can, marking them off, and then we'll scan them and move to the next one. It's gonna take a long time, but luckily we have a couple other characters to back us up if somebody does come here. Let's get them on grid. Kind of excited about this. Just gonna take my time though, even though I feel a little bit of a, what's the word? Nervous energy. So technically I have an idea. If I take my camera and make it fixed, right? And leave the camera right there, I should be able to just work my way slowly left to right, right? Okay, so we did those. So we gotta figure out a way to get space. What I think we should do is perhaps go inside here, open this, put it in there, and back to the spot. 17 milli, let's go. Okay, we'll take that. 16 mil and a 17 mil, okay. And that's like 1/3 of the site. I don't even know if you can fail these, honestly. I just love the idea that we get this all to ourselves this time. I was really disappointed last time that we didn't get to do this. And so this kind of like makes up for it in my mind. Yo, this is crazy. This is nuts. What the hell? 26 mil? Yo, this is a crazy site. Oh my gosh. Whoa. That was so cool. I'm kind of curious how much we made off of that, but I don't think it was like crazy or anything, but definitely worth the time for me. If we're speaking raw-esque and in terms of enjoyment, I mean, yeah, it's pretty good. All right, so 250 million. Wow. Wow, look at that. Okay, what the hell? So that silent battleground just disappeared. Okay, I want you to understand this. Okay, so it just disappeared after I looted it. And I didn't fully loot it. It disappeared within like an hour or so. It's kind of weird. And then lo and behold, it despawns and another one spawns right away. So that is like absolutely just like I don't even understand what's even happening here. Yeah, we'll pass on the 3 mil. Oh, we won't pass on the 16 mil though. All right, so we got that one. $66 million. Yo. My eyes just got really wide from that one. What the hell? Damn. 27. Oh my gosh. I love this. This is so cool. The challenging part is how do I show this without putting you to sleep? Okay, so when all is said and done from that site, we got 333 million plus 66. So let's look at it all together. So we got about 400 million, which is freaking awesome. We're totally in love with that. So maybe 250 mil a site. It's about average. We had a lot of dead cans too, so I imagine that we got unlucky on the second one. First one was pretty good. So that was one of the most insane experiences. I don't even understand how that happened. Now that I actually take a second to think about it instead of just knee-jerking, I think what happened is there's probably only a handful of silent battlegrounds. And what happened is we cleared this one, and by crazy chance, the same one decided to randomly roll itself back into this hole. That's what I guess happened. But you never know. You never know. Not sure how exactly to proceed here. It's tempting to just YOLO the Kiki there and try to kill him. Might just try to go for it. Not so sure this is my best of ideas, but it's possible. We pull this off and be happy for it. Oh my god, is he turning? Oh, he warped. Okay. Alright, I guess we're just gonna bring the bomber in. Oh, there's freaking turrets there. That's so annoying. Jackdaw. Uh-oh. That's something that could murk us. Oh, the jackdaw is what's gonna loot it, I guess? We could have missed it entirely, who knows? Wonder if they saw me come in. It looks a lot like they stopped and just left. So how did they know? Did they actually see me come in? I had so much opportunity to kill them. Why'd they leave then? Let's go back just to be sure. I feel like that might have been a coincidence. I don't think they had any way of seeing me. Or rather, I don't think they did see me. Okay, well, somebody is in the system. Ah, it's a heron. Okay, well this should be pretty easy to get. He's over there. Oh, this will give us an opportunity to use our new setup. Interesting. So if we warp there, back at 100. See if he's still there. Okay, where's he at? He's right there. It's 40 off. Okay, well this is easy then. Watch this. We're gonna treat him like a bookmark. Alright, so check this out. You ready? I'm gonna slowly try to head this guy off. And if done properly, I mean, I'm gonna have to haul butt here because he's gonna finish soon. But if I can get close enough to him, I can instantly lock him and grab him. And he can't get out, so. Basically, if I can get within like, I don't know, 15 km, I can overheat to grab him, but I think I can get closer. Probably almost done scanning, but I think we'll be fine here. You can kind of use the vector markers here to kind of get closer, but we're definitely gonna catch him here. All right, so how this works, this is really cool. I'm so happy to show this. Is that I decloak, activate 2 SIBOs, and because I'm in a bomber, he can't get out. It's like instant. You ready? We're gonna go quick here. Ready? And he's caught. See that? See how fast that is? Isn't that wild? I think that's crazy. Like, you literally get caught in a second or two. And there's really not a whole lot you can do because I have the 3-point scrambler on here. If he doesn't respond in 10 seconds, I'm gonna kill him. Nothing? Absolutely nothing? Jeez. See you, buddy. Definitely tried to save you. So I thought that was really cool that we got to see the sensor booster bomber in action. Like, it's pretty much more reliable at catching explorers than even bubbles. And a long time ago, in like episode, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 in there, maybe, I said you can do this with bombers, and there's really not much you can do as an explorer, you know what I mean? So, awesome. I'm like pretty far down the chain at this point from my stuff, but where is this freaking guy? Tell me he's gonna hack. No way. That would be crazy. He's legit hacking. Maybe I can get here with the Kiki in time. Wouldn't that be nuts? I gotta see who this is first, see if it's worth my time. He's hacking in Synesis. That's crazy. Oh, this just went EOL. Okay. Well, we still got plenty of time. This was not EOL when I went in it. I mean, there's a chance he just warps off and I don't get the tackle, but realistically speaking, I think we should be fine. Oh, he just cleared it. Oh, which way is he gonna go? No. Which way is he gonna go? He's just sitting there. Perfect. Oh, he's going the right way. He's going the exact proper way. This is crazy. Let's see if we can catch him. Oh, he warped off. Maybe we'll catch him off guard here. On the other side. You won't expect us to be able to follow him. I know exactly why he went in here. Is he holding gate cloak, maybe? Oh wait, he warped off that quickly. Maybe he did go in another hole? Darn. Oh my god, he's here. No way. Can I get him? Come on, please, no! Damn. Close. Pretty scary. If I brought the right tool for that, I would have had it. I honestly thought I could just get him with a Kiki. The problem is I should have waited for him to go to a fresh can. I just thought he was taking forever, so I could just go. That was bad. It's okay. Let me scan these cans now. Yo, this Phoenix Navius who just cleared the whole gate by himself. That's crazy. What's even happening here? This is crazy. The Phoenix is back. Okay, that is one big boss right there. So I saw this on D-Scan and knew I was going to have to take a look. I'm not going to lie, I don't even like being on grid with this thing in case I misclick, but luckily boss mods take a while to target you, right? Cool tower. I like the way they have it set up there with everything just kind of floating around it. I'm not sure how they did that, if that was just random. Oh wow, they're actually like pretty organized if you look at it closely. Anyway, let's get off grid with this before I find a way to mess up here. So, would you believe it? We have ourselves an instrumental core reservoir that happened to spawn in the system we're currently hanging out in. And as we've covered, whenever one of these spawns near us, it's basically +1 bill in the bank. Given how safe we are and how we understand the spinning technique, and we don't even have to travel through wormholes, so we're not going to get bubbled, right? It's just so satisfying now that we've got this down to such a science, to where I just pretty much see one of these, I'm like, yes, give me that 1 billion ISK, and I just know I'm about to get a lot wealthier in terms of net worth. It's cool. It's just, maybe it's a side effect of the struggle we had learning the right techniques from scratch, but yeah, it's really feeling good. So long story short, we're gonna pull these guys around for a while and they'll follow us, and I think it's 3 trips. We'll compress it and store it and ship it, and that'll be our Eve adventure for the day. Okay, so there's somebody, looks like the live-in is once again combat scanning, so I'm gonna see what's going on with that. There's a venture. Okay. Oh, is he at this? No way, right? No way, is he at the gas? Bro, there's a venture at the gas. Oh, this is wild, actually. Somebody's gonna come here. No way. So we need to get the bomber here ASAP. Where is it? It's here. And then we're gonna have to get these aligned. We're gonna have to get everybody in fleet. An onyx. Whoa. That's wild. Look at this. I don't think I can even kill that very easily. Maybe, though. This guy only flies in fleets, though. You see that? Looks like he's gonna go to FAM. I'm not even sure. Oh, he just went over there. Not even sure where that is. Quite interesting. I really don't know. Like, if I go for that there, you understand what happens is I make a miscalculation, he can't kill it, and then he just picks up a kill on one of my things very easily. I don't know if I probably could take that very easily with overheat, just real fast, but I really don't want to find out. Kind of disappointing, because I know I'm not going to get another shot at that. Can't believe he's just sitting there. God, I want to go for it so badly. I have no idea. I should just do it. I'll warp off and come back and he won't be here. I feel like I should go for it. I don't know. This seems like a terrible idea. It's literally right there. Okay, man, let's go. Let's go. I'm so fucking nervous about this one. Fuck it. Holy shit, this is crazy, dude. This is literally crazy. I lost some ships here. Oh my gosh. What did I lose? I lost an heiress and a bomber. Okay, that's fine. So I was about to bring my hyena into Abazin, but I noticed there was a little catalyst that was sitting on the gate, which could toast up my hyena pretty easily, right? So what we're gonna do is show you a very, 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 very simple form of camp busting, right? And this works best when there's not that many people there, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to push that catalyst off the gate, and then we're going to pull our hyena through. Right? See if he warps off. What happens is they warp, and then you pull in your ship, and then you warp back to the fort with your 2 ships. And now, because he's no longer here, your hyena comes in with no issues whatsoever, right? And this works against bigger camps too. I mean, I've done this against 8, 9 guys at once, right? And the reason is simple. They don't want to be there when you pop through and tackle you if you have stuff that can hold them to the grid and kill them, right? So that's it. If you want to camp bust, you need to have pretty heavy metal in the system that you want to get into already, so it's not that useful unless you live there. And if you're going to do it, you absolutely have to sell it. You can't be scared. And like if he didn't move, I would have started bumping him, and if he didn't move, then what I would have done is I would have pulled range with the Loki, aligned, or not the Loki, the curse. I would have aligned and pulled drones out and then stick them on him. And if anybody comes, I would have warped off and he would have died, so I would have lost some drones. Either way, against bigger camps, they usually just get out of your way because Pilgrim and a Proteus can both Sino. So bigger camps generally tend to get the hell out of the way of these ships. Now, if it's big enough, they'll just ignore you, right? So a proper gate camp is gonna not be bustable in that sense. But anything under 10 guys, you can usually get them the heck out of the way if you put the right ships in front of them and act menacing, right? It's kind of cool. So would you believe it? We have a 3rd silent battleground. It's hard to believe, honestly. So what we'll do is we'll take it real quick, and one can in particular, this one, I want to show you how much is inside of it. I just gotta make sure I actually complete it without screwing up or anything crazy like that. Here we are. Look how much money's inside of here. Look at this. 92 million. Wow, how crazy is that, right? What we've done on this one, we're not going to go through the whole thing again this time. But what we've done is we cherry picked it really hard. We scanned it, excuse me, really hard. And we simply marked off the valuable ones instead of hacking them right away. That allows us to fluidly bounce between them without any awkward delays. It'd be a lot harder to catch us right now, which is kind of a concern for me because of the Zugma I'm using. So we'll just do something like that. And then what I would do is warp back to the depot, drop off what I have. Good to go. Do this a couple times, cleared with the site. So we took the 27 mil and we took the 92. So we'll just do this, we'll clear it and good to go. And then after that, look at this, we have a vital core and a vast frontier. So this place is about to pay us a lot of money. Loving it. Alright, so I have been working at collecting Anoika's loot for quite some time now, probably over a month now in this container. And we showed it to you earlier, but I just want to show you the final tally for this Anoika's cache container. We hit almost 12 bill, which, if we look at the breakdown, is over half gas, about a quarter to a third blue loot, and then the rest would be salvage. I didn't include any PvP loot in here, and we're not counting any of the blueprints because I don't know when I started collecting them versus when this cache started. These are all the ones I've found out here. So we're not going to worry about the blueprints. We're just going to keep stacking this up. And I did the numbers. I have plenty of ISK not selling this, so I'm going to keep stacking it until I get bored of stacking it, and maybe we'll do something like we mentioned, or maybe we'll just sell it all and get a nice payday and, you know, do a little celebration consuming. But either way, this is what we ended up on, and that's a lot of ISK and feeling good about it. So yeah, let's see if that sticks around for next time. Alright, Capsuleers, that was episode 12 of A Nomad Tale. Together, and contrary to common conception, we demonstrated the value of going down in ship size. We studied niche, unwritten game mechanics because we understand that knowing something is not particularly useful unless we can prove how that is true. Perhaps most importantly though, and maybe for the first time ever as nomads, we took some significant risks with our military units, and we came out the other side a better pilot for it. I take great pride and pleasure in sharing all of these intimate glimpses into my JSpace experience with you. I believe that as a curious soul and somebody interested in the truth, that you once again deserve to feel the weight of these words. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again soon. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have just a little bit of theorizing to do.